After several long months, I finally finished watching The Ghost Bride. That show was pretty good. Very nearly immaculate, if I do say so myself. I really enjoyed it. It was super, super fun. And I'm not gonna lie, maybe even better than the book. Hello, it's me, B, and I'm sitting in front of the camera to give you another mediocre video. I'm basically doing a comparison of the Ghost Bride book and the Ghost Bride TV show and discussing which one just discussing both of them and giving, I guess, my verdict on which is better. I don't know, this is not really a versus thing. It's more of a apples to oranges. Because as we all know, there's things that are better conveyed on screen than in books, and there are things that are better conveyed in books than on screen, right? So the experiences are always going to be different. And actually, let me just say, if you haven't read the book nor watched the show, I'm probably going to spoil both in discussing them. I've discussed the book briefly, just a little bit, in my wrap-up. It's the story of a young girl named Pan Li Lan, who is contacted by the mother of a young man who recently died, Tian Qing. She wants her to marry her dead son's ghost so that he doesn't come back and like haunt them or anything like that. It's a practice that I'm pretty sure was not widespread, but it really existed back in like 1800s Malay and China, which is where the story takes place. And Li Lan really does not want to do that, so she gets into a couple of shenanigans trying to avoid this marriage, while Tianqing on his side in the underworld tries his hardest to get her to marry him. For me, I felt the book was very slow. I gave it a 3 out of 5. It was fine. There wasn't really anything wrong with it per se. Like, there wasn't anything, I mean, it's been a while now, I won't lie, but there wasn't really much that I felt should be changed or different. I do think that Li Lan could have been more aggressive of a protagonist. She felt very like laid back and passive. That's the word. Yeah, she was super passive. I thought that a lot of things just kept happening in the book and she was just like, whoa, like reacting to them, and not very well, because she ends up putting herself into a coma at some point. I did love the characters in both mediums. I will say, in the book, there was no reason to like Tian Qing. He was definitely the antagonist, you know? Clear cut, creepy young man. Now in the show,
美丽的小姐，就是你，嫁给我吧！我的豪宅什么都有，不管你想要金银财宝、贴身用人，还是奢华婚礼派对，我都可以给你。还考虑什么？
I would have married him. I didn't see what the problem was, you know? She didn't have anybody she liked. Yeah, she didn't have anybody she liked. Nobody was trying to marry her. It was just that he was a ghost. And he was cute. It's not a problem. He was cute and rich. Are you kidding me? Yeah, okay, so maybe he's a misogynist. But when you're sexy, does it really matter? I'm joking. But yeah, no, for real, if it was me, I would have just been like, yeah, okay. It's not a problem. His cousin, Tian Bai, in the book and the show, very handsome young man, you know, definitely a good boy. He was really doing his best. I feel like in the show his character made more sense, was more consistent, because in the book towards the end, her body gets possessed by another ghost named Fan. So even though she's in the living world, she can't access her body. And Fan is like parading around like with Tian Bai, because they were supposed to get married, I think. And I think Tian Bai is like really, really weird. But yeah, Tian Bai was just really weird, and I didn't understand what brought on the sudden change. Like, I know in the book, in his dreams, Li Lan would like come and like tell him things sometimes, And I think she tried explaining that she was a ghost or something like that. But I don't know if he ever understood that. Like, we never got his point of view. So I don't know what was running through his mind when he was talking to Fan in Leland's body. But it was just odd. It was just really off. And in the book, that turned me off of his character completely. I was like, girl, you better marry Erlang or else I'm gonna be mad. And in the show, Fan isn't there at all. She doesn't pop up whatsoever. She's not needed as a character. She was just a side character until she got really annoying. Because why'd you have to go and steal that girl's body for? That was just really rude. Really liked how they swapped like the energies of the mother and the sister. So in the book, the mother, Madame Lim, she's super suspicious from the beginning. Like, straight off the bat, the first conversation she has with Leland, and you're like, there's something off about this lady. And she's not like completely innocent seeming in the show either. But when you first see Yen Hong, you're like, like, she's, first of all, she's gorgeous. Oh my god. But there's definitely like the vibe of like, what do you know? What are you doing? What's your whole thing about? But she's not even that bad once you get to the bottom of it. She's just secretive. Now, plot-wise, like I said earlier, in the show, Leland feels a lot more active than she was in the book. It feels more like she's doing things. She's trying to initiate stuff, and so the story is a lot easier to follow, or more engaging to follow, really. When Tianqing tries to get her to marry him, she like shuts that down immediately and is like, no, you're gross, disgusting, weird, ugly, I don't want to talk to you. And then he's like, damn, just like that? Okay then. And he has to like figure out another way to get her to talk to him, because she was like, I'm just not doing this ever. I won't. Don't care what you have to say to me, I'm just not doing it. And that was kind of legendaric of her. Oh, in terms of like whether or not it follows the book, it definitely doesn't. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. It definitely doesn't. There's a huge schism right off the bat, between like episode 1 and episode 2, like when her father falls ill instead of her. That's when I was like, okay, well, this is gone off the reservation. And I enjoyed that. I liked that because it made it more interesting to me, because we had to figure out like what was happening, kind of, if that makes sense. In both the book and the show, there's the mystery of who killed Tianqing, because someone made him sick and he died because of it, right? Leland is trying to figure out who did it, and the culprit is different in the book and the show. And I liked that a lot. I didn't know that that's where they were going when I was watching it, but I think that because they deviated from the book so far, that it made sense for them to do something like that, you know? Especially because the way that the murder was revealed in the book, like, we spent the whole book trying to figure out, like, who murdered Tianqing, because that was the only way she was gonna get out of marrying him, I think. And then we found out, but, like, nothing happened. Like, now we, the reader, know who killed him, but that nothing's gonna happen to that person, because Tianqing was already defeated at that point, you know? Like, he was already taken in by the authorities. Like, what? That was the part of the book I didn't really like. I was like, what is all this drama happening over who killed him when he's not even around? Like, it doesn't matter anymore. I don't know. I guess it was just to wrap up the thread. There's like 4 people. They're not maintaining social distancing. I really enjoyed the ending of the show. I really liked how we basically got like the hints of like what else could come in season 2, with Erlang and Leland being like a dynamic duo, a crime-stopping duo. Ugh, wow. Like, their dynamic was so fun in the show. It was really fun in the book as well, but there simply was not enough of it. I think I mentioned, well, I don't know if I mentioned, Erlang didn't really show up too often, because he couldn't like there was like plot restrictions where, like, because of who he was as a Celestial, he couldn't be in the Netherworld for too long or something like that. But whenever he was on page, I was like, yes, King, give me, like, go ahead, tell her she looks dorky. I don't care, just say something, you know? And in the show, it was the same thing. Every time I saw Erlang, I was like, oh my gosh, yes. I'm automatically just a smile on my face. Their interactions were always so fun. I love, like, the way they act with each other, and I did enjoy how you could definitely tell that they cared about each other by the end of the show, but it wasn't like they were super in love with each other, you know what I mean? I am really excited for whatever they do in season 2, if there is one, because the two of them together just going around investigating things, fighting crime, arguing, That sounds so fun. It's such a good time. So in conclusion, I definitely preferred the show over the book. The book is fine, it's okay, but the show is really enjoyable to me. It did nothing if not add more dimension to the characters. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that discussion, I suppose, my little analysis on it. I hope it was good because I kind of had to record record this in half. You'll probably notice it in the editing. So hopefully these two like parts make sense together. But thank you so much for watching and getting all the way through to the end. If you've read the book or you watched the show, let me know what your favorite parts about it were. And I will talk to you later.